How about starting your own business and making money right from your kitchen at home? That's right, folks. Today I'm going to make a Cuca bread, and let me tell you something. You can make it to sell and you can earn quite a bit of money with it. Just look at how delicious this super filled bread is, and today it's got a dulce de leche feeling that's going to make everyone want to try it. So right from the start I'm going to begin with the recipe, which is super practical. It's a traditional bread, but we're going to fill it and then it gets a wonderful super crunchy topping that's sure to catch everyone's attention. We're going to make it really easy and simple. Just pay attention to all the tips and techniques I share here. I always say this is a school for bakers. That's right, folks. So take advantage if you want to become more professional every day. Just watch our videos, okay? Let's get started. Starting with the dough, I'll tell you what goes into the preparations. Remember that everything is written down for you in the video description below, so watch until the end and don't forget to like and share as well. Don't forget, because it really helps us out here on this channel. Let's begin. Here I have 1 kilogram of flour, 3 eggs, powdered milk, which I like to use in powder form, and I'll explain why in a moment. I have here 60 grams, 80 grams of butter or margarine. Guys, I use margarine, 80% fat content, okay? Sugar, 40 grams. And 10 grams of salt. For this amount of flour, which can vary a lot, I have half a liter of water, but you might need less or more, and the water here is ice cold. Now I want to talk about the yeast. This yeast is this one right here. Let me show you. It's dry yeast, but it contains a flour improver. So if you can find this where you live, buy it. It's great. Usually yeast packets come with 10 grams, right? This one comes with 13 because it's 10 grams of yeast and 3 grams of flour improver. So this is really cool. I thought it was interesting. I would need 2 packets, which would be 1.5 packets, right? It would be 15 grams of yeast if each packet had 10 grams. But since I'm making it with 1 kilogram of flour, and since it has an improver, I use 2 packets of this yeast here. If yours doesn't have an improver, no problem. You can use 2 packets as well, okay? Now let's get started here, kneading the dough. I'm going to add the flour here, guys. I'm already putting it in a big bowl, okay? Because look, you need some strength to knead here, right? Here are the sugar and the salt. I always like to make this mixture first. Do it this way and you can be sure your bread will rise much more. When it's dry yeast, you don't need to dissolve it in water. I've seen a lot of people dissolving dry yeast in water. You don't need to. It's already instant. You don't need to activate it or anything. You can just add it here and it'll mix right in. And I'm also going to add the powdered milk, okay? You've mixed all the dry ingredients. Now it's time to start adding the wet ingredients. So in go the eggs and the margarine. All right, I'll start with half a liter of water. I have 1 kilogram of flour, but I also have eggs here, which are liquid too. So I'm not going to add all the water, okay? I'll add almost all of it here. I'll leave about 100 milliliters aside. And I'll start by making the first mix, right guys? This is just the first mix, it's not kneading yet. Keep mixing it in gradually until this flour I bought is a drier type of flour. So it's already going to need more water. Look, see here? Just by stirring here, making the first mix, I can already tell I'll need more water. Guys, use cold water, don't use warm water when you're working with your bread, okay? True bread making, real bread making, doesn't use hot water. Look, it still needs more. This flour really is going to need more. Let me save a little and I'll show you here if it needs more water. Look, there's still flour at the bottom here. So let's add it drop by drop. I'm still at 500 milliliters here. I haven't added any more, no. Let's first get all this flour that's at the bottom. Look, the flour is all gone here, see? I'm going to put it on the counter and start kneading. I'll take it out now. Look, there's a little bit of water left, guys. I think it's about 50 milliliters, but I'll leave it on the side in case I need it. And here we go, kneading. About 10 minutes or so, and we'll see how it turns out, okay guys? The dough is perfect. I'm just spreading a little bit of oil here on the bottom because when you're kneading, if the dough is really moist like this, see, it doesn't stick to your hands. It's really moist, you see? You don't need to keep sprinkling flour underneath. You just need to spread a little oil and keep kneading. So now I'm going to knead a little more, and then I'll give you a golden tip. Even after kneading and kneading, you pull it to see if it has reached the window pane stage. It still hasn't, guys, see? Look, it breaks. So here's what you're going to do. I kneaded it a bit here, and now I'm going to put it here in the bowl. In the same one I already used, I'm going to add a little bit of oil and let it rest in the fridge for half an hour. But it's not for fermentation, it's just to let it rest to help the gluten develop better, okay? So it can achieve a better window pane stage. So I'm going to cover it here with plastic wrap and leave it in the fridge for half an hour. You can just cover it on top, it doesn't need to be sealed tight, okay? And I'm going to put it in there because I don't want it to ferment, I just want it to rest. That's why it needs to stay in the fridge. Just half an hour of resting for now, guys. Shall we see how it turned out? Look, it rises, okay? But even so, it was in the fridge. So let's see how it is here, look. And look at how it rests. When it rests, see how it gets more elastic? See the difference, guys? Look at this, that's what resting does, isn't it cool? So now we can even start working with it if we want. See how you get the window pane effect just right without having to knead too much? Now it's tearing, but that's it. What a beautiful dough. Now I'm going to portion it out and we'll move on. A little bit of oil here on the bottom and I'm going to take this dough out, guys. Look at this, guys. Look how amazing this dough is. Really moist, right? Super soft. And now I'm going to divide it and we'll portion it out, make the fillings and roll it up. And then yes, it will go for fermentation. For now, it's just resting here. Guys, this came out to 1.8 kilograms. Since I have the baking pan like this, look, this baking pan of mine is really big. And I have 2 more smaller pans. So I'm going to put a bit more dough in this one and a bit less in the others, okay? So, since I have 1.8 kilograms, I'm going to cut 2 pieces of dough, 500 grams each, to put here, and the rest will go in the bigger pan. But you could make 3 pans like this one, all the same size. Just divide this dough here into 3 portions. I'll start with the first portion of dough. I put in 500 grams. Put a little bit of flour down here, guys, but just a little, okay? Don't overdo it. I'm going to roll it out. You can sprinkle a little bit on top here so it doesn't stick. And let's go. Stretch it out nice and wide, shaping it so it narrows a bit at the end and make sure it's not sticking. Now I'm going to add the filling, okay guys? So here, look, a good dulce de leche. I'm going to start like this, see? Don't go all the way to the edge so it doesn't leak out. But I want plenty of filling to make it really tasty. Look at that. It's going to be delicious, okay? All the way to the end here. Let me see if it's enough. Okay? And now we just start rolling it up like this, see? Grab it here and keep rolling it like this, see? Give it a little squeeze and let's keep rolling. Look at that. It's getting super filled, right? We keep pressing it a bit and moving it along, see? All the way to the end here. And this part here, look, we're going to press it a little and it will stay on the bottom, okay? I'm going to put it in the baking pan. Let me just sprinkle a little flour here so it turns more easily. Now here inside the pan, let's go. And here I'm going to take the bread with the bottom side down and place it in here, see? Give it a gentle squeeze and now we're really going to let it rise, okay? After that, there's still another step for us to do. Guys, everything's ready. Now it's time for it to rise. So here, look, I put 500 grams of each dough, okay? Here. And this one here ended up being about 800 grams, so that's why I put a little more. But you could have divided it into 3 equal parts if your baking pans were all the same size as this one here, see? Right? Now just let it rise. It needs to grow well. Meanwhile, I'm going to make the crumb topping to put on top in just a bit. To make the crumb topping that goes on top of the cuca, I have here sugar and flour. I'm going to add the margarine, and the margarine I always use has more than 80% fat. And cinnamon, right guys, to give it a special flavor. And now you don't need it, just make that motion here with your fingertips. Just until it picks up the moisture from the margarine, okay? And that's it, see? Just mix it. It's ready, guys, look. It's this crumb topping here, don't need it. We're going to use it to put on top of the cuca. Guys, the dough is already losing its strength, see? It's still breathing. When you press it and it springs back, there's still some fermentation time left. When you press it and it doesn't rise anymore, doesn't breathe anymore, that's when it's time to go in the oven. But I'm already going to brush the egg yolk on while it's still breathing. We can brush the egg yolk on here and then add the crumb topping, okay? If you have a razor blade, guys, you can use a razor blade. I don't recommend using a knife unless it's really sharp. I hope it works out. You're going to make a slit here. Look, cut it while it's still breathing because it's going to rise more, okay? I'm going to cut here too. A knife isn't ideal because it'll make this wrinkle up and that's not good, okay? Make the cut a little deeper. And here too, you can't use a utility knife. Just make use of whatever tools or items you have available there. Let's go. Then come back and cut a little more. This is going to open up and look beautiful when it bakes, right? Now I'm going to put this on top and look how cool. It's already showing the filling here. It's okay if some comes out, don't worry. This one is going to look beautiful. Everything's ready. My oven is already preheated. I've had it on for 20 minutes now. 180 to 200 degrees, okay guys? So it bakes a little faster because it's going to rise a lot. And then I'll put it in there, about 30 to 35 minutes on average. I'll check it and let you know exactly. Guys, look how delicious this is. Come take a look here because now it's time for me to try it. Seriously, it's falling apart. Look how much filling there is. Amazing, right?